Welcome to our next episode in this series of Begins Doing Good While Doing Business podcast. My name is Lihle, and today we're diving into the topic of inclusive leadership and driving change in Africa. Joining me today is Saiuree, who will be sharing her personal journey as well as diving into this exciting topic with us. How are you today, Saiuree?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Saiuree, maybe you could tell me a bit about your journey, but perhaps right at the beginning, we'll start with your academics perhaps. What did you study to get you where you are today?
In school, I focused on the S7 courses, which was the physics and maths. I also did a bit of accounting, but I segued into engineering.
Engineering, okay.
Yes, electrical engineering. And I was actually awarded a bursary by Begin to study electrical engineering at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in Durban. Yes, I studied that for 4 years and I graduated in 2017. Actually, I graduated at the top of my class and I started working for Begin in 2018.
So what did you do when you started at Begin? What was the first position they put you in?
Yeah, so I worked in the energy division at Begin, and I think some of the key projects that we worked on at the beginning was regarding electrification. So I think it really assisted me to see how my theoretical knowledge in my degree could be applied to the workforce, but in a way that has impact on communities. So those projects, they dealt with bringing electricity to rural communities in South Africa, somewhere in the Eastern Cape, somewhere in Limpopo, and then these designs were really to extend the grid to these communities and bring light to those communities.
So this was Begin's initiative to go into these sorts of communities, or did you have any input perhaps?
Yeah, so Begin is an infrastructure development firm, and a lot of what we do is servicing communities in South Africa.
And then perhaps after the electrification, I think you mentioned, what was the next step in your journey?
So the next step in my journey focused more on power system studies and master planning. I actually got quite involved and specialized with regards to electrical master planning, and that speaks to designing of systems on a high level, looking at the network, ensuring there's capacity, ensuring that there's future plans to expand networks, and also integrating renewable energy resources and decarbonization solutions.
Goodness.
Yes, so that the grid is robust. And I think thus far I was quite blessed to work on multiple municipalities, over 40 plus, and at which I've completed electrical master planning.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of a specialization in that, and also I worked on substation projects, lines, etc.
So that's quite a bit that you've done, already in these roles. And then have there been any maybe defining moments that have made Saiuree who she is today in Begin perhaps?
Yeah, so I think, when you say it's quite diverse, I think that's consulting engineering. Every bit of work we do is different from the last. It's project based.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what I enjoy about it. It's the exposure to all of the different aspects of engineering. Defining moment for me would be stepping into more of a leadership role as a young engineer. I was the chairperson of the CISA Young Professionals Forum. And that assisted me to just broaden my horizon and understand the industry a lot better. And I think from there, I was able to kind of focus my career onto more of a driving impact. In 2022, I was awarded Young Engineer of the Year by CISA, the CISA Aeon Annual Engineering Awards. And I think that really was, driving a pivotal moment in my career. From there, I was then invited to the Begin board as a young professional representative.
Young professionals, okay.
Yeah, so I'm also the chairperson of the Begin Young Professionals Forum. So I think that really gave me exposure to the company and, driving a strategic change within the company and how that's done on a corporate level, attending mancos and excos and board meetings, etc. Just exposure to diverse people and sitting at the table where decisions are being made.
You mentioned now the diversity aspect of it. What I'm also getting is that while Begin works with, the infrastructure, the electricity and such, they're also very much people focused. And I suppose that's what I want to ask you about next, is how does Begin ensure its inclusivity and initiatives? And I would also like to elaborate on the fact I think diversity also comes down to, it's not just, race and ethnicity and so forth, but you mentioned the youth program as well also comes down to age. So perhaps you could, because that is your role you mentioned now as the chairperson, so maybe you could dive in a bit about how does Begin to really ensure its inclusivity and its initiatives using the youth maybe?
Yes, I think inclusivity is really at the heart of what Begin does. And it speaks to our ethos of doing good while doing business. we drive inclusivity and diversity through our policies. Beacon has an employment equity policy that's in place.
Yeah.
We drive affirmative action in recruitment. But besides that, the Beacon workforce is completely diverse. And it's, as you say, it's not just ethnicity, it's everything. It's age, it's cultural background, etc. Our workforce is diverse. And I think, speaking to what you said, diversity is not just a moral imperative. And I think at Beacon, it's a strategic move because it allows us to firstly better reflect and mirror our customer base.
Of course, yeah.
So we understand our customers better because we are diverse. It also minimizes groupthink. We have people from all different walks of life, and that minimizes groupthink and allows us to strategically look at innovation, look at some certain risks on projects, etc.
You made a very good sentiment now about how having such great diversity also mirrors your communities or your consumers. Maybe you could give me a bit more on how exactly does Beacon, through its policies, how do they uplift communities?
So Beacon has a specialized division or directorate which focuses on development, advisory, and impact. And we ensure that the projects that we do, which is infrastructure development solutions, we ensure that it caters to the needs of the communities that we are servicing. And to do this, I think that we really focus on local economic development, skills transfer, job creation, and we ensure that the projects that we create are what the customers need. So we really get conversations going and the dialogue running at the early stages of the project with society, with the people who the project is going to affect. And I think that really assists in ensuring that the end deliverable meets the needs of the community. And that, it's that the community supports the project. So, yes. So I think development advisory and, making sure that your impact is there speaks to the social economical development of those communities. And that's really at the heart of how Beacon does business.
You mentioned in terms of making more impact, I think you also mentioned the skill transfer aspect. What are the types of skills that you give to these communities?
100%. So in any project that we do in infrastructure development, there's the design phase and the construction phase. So Beacon ensures that we transfer as much skills as possible in all phases of the project, whether it's from the environmental aspects, health and safety aspects. We try and get the local community also involved with the construction, playing the role of community facilitation, etc. And then we also make tailor-made packages so that we can uplift the communities with regards to sort of the work that we're doing. And if, for instance, we're working in a municipality or any organization for that matter, we ensure that we train our customer on the systems that we've created so that it's, there's longevity in our designs.
So whatever skills rather that the community members gain, there is also impact in terms of they can use these elsewhere, after they're done with the Beacon impact or the particular project that they're working on. And I think that is in itself, in its essence, doing good, which is the aim.
Yes, 100%.
And then perhaps we can move on to the future of Beacon and its role in Africa. Does Saiuree have any visions in terms of leadership in Africa that Beacon can play a role in?
Yeah, so I think Beacon really would continue to have a meaningful impact on the African continent in the years to come. I think we've already expanded into 19 countries, and our projects are really, improving access to key resources for communities, that being roads, water, transport, electricity, etc. Yeah, so that in itself is doing a lot for communities. I think Beacon will continue to drive change on the continent, and also, in terms of technology, Beacon's very advanced in terms of bringing technology to the forefront. I think Beacon will continue to play that role as a leader in terms of infrastructure development. And my personal perspective for leadership in Africa, I think really it's up to the youth to step up and take their seat on the table. And really drive change that's needed in Africa, bring innovative solutions, and focus on the social impact.
Admittedly, it makes me so excited for Beacon's future, seeing that they've got such passionate people at their forefront. And I would have to thank you for all your help today and all your wonderful information. And you've been such a pleasure to have.
Thank you.
My name is Lihle, and until next time, goodbye.